Breakfast in the Blue Ridge with Lula Bell and Scotty. Good morning, good friends. It's that time of day when we join those favorite sweethearts of the airways, Lula Bell and Scotty, in the kitchen of their spruce pine home that nestles at the foot of Grandfather Mountain in the scenic wonderland of the Blue Ridge. To a cozy nest that I love the best, it's my Blue Ridge mountain home. Lou and Scotty will be waiting for us just as soon as we hear from a friend of yours. Here in the Blue Ridge, where all the world looks lovely the year round, there's a sparkle in the air this fine morning, and in the kitchen of the Wiseman home, there's a gleam in the eye of Mrs. Lulabelle as she looks at Mr. Scotty.
Scotty, why don't you get up out of that chair and set the table? You're the laziest sitter this morning.
Ain't no hurry, is he? Why, you haven't even put the eggs on the fry yet.
Listen, that takes about 2 minutes. I swan to goodness, you mountain men are as lazy as your old hound dog.
Now, let's...
Except when you're all hunting. I think they get it from you.
Well, you know what we say in this part of the country. I'd rather go up a mountain than come down it.
Sounds more like more work. How come?
Well, you can't hurry going up a mountain, but sometimes coming down you have to.
Oh, I declare, that sounds just like you. Why, if I didn't have any more gumption than...
Now, wait a minute, Lula. Now, just settle down a minute. Relax. Sing a song or something, you know. The trouble with this world today is that everybody's in such a hurry to get ahead of the other feller. They keep running all over each other. Come on now, settle down and sing us a little tune.
Well, all right. This is a good song for you. One of the things you do best. Just wait. Yeah. In a cool shady nook by the side of the brook, 2 fair maidens were fishing one day. They talked as they fished, and the younger girl wished for a sweetheart she never had known. The other girl said with a toss of her head, "Cheer up, you've no cause to be blue. The time is not yet, for I love you, my pet, and there's somebody waiting for you. Somewhere, somebody's waiting for you, Somewhere, somebody's waiting whose smile is true. Sometime you'll love somebody who'll love you too. Somewhere, somebody's waiting for you. Then a youth passing by heard the maiden reply, and he joined in their chat half for fun. He said, "It is true, somebody's waiting for you, and I wish that I might be that one." She paused for a while, then she said with a smile, "Yes, it may be the one, it is true. But if you are wrong, you won't worry long, for there's somebody waiting there. Somebody's waiting for you. Somewhere, somebody's waiting whose smile is true. Sometime you'll have somebody who'll love you too. Somewhere, somebody's waiting for you. Remember the words so good as I used to that one.
Well, that's really something, though. Now I'll set the table and you put on the eggs, huh?
I sort of feel better myself. Oh, I believe I hear Jack coming up the back steps. It must be him.
Yeah, I'll go let him in.
Yeah, it is.
Good morning, Jack.
Well, good morning. Morning, Miss W.
Hi, you, Mr. Jack. I'll have breakfast ready in a jiffy, now that I've got my lazy husband to set in the table.
Well, here, let me help you, Scotty.
You know, Jack, that Scotty is the pokiest man in these parts.
Oh, now, Lou, now, you can't tell me that Scotty's lazy.
Well,
You know, up north, they always berate the Southerner for his traditional laziness, but I just don't believe it's so.
Now, you're right there, Jack. You sure had a mouthful, son. You see, these Southerners just know how to relax. Southerner, he don't knock himself out every minute of the day when there ain't no reason for it.
You don't, I'll say that.
But when it comes to doing, he can do. Just take old John Henry, for instance.
John Henry. Oh, you mean that steel-driving man?
That's the one.
I always thought John Henry was a legendary character, like Paul Bunyan up in the North Woods.
Oh, no, he was real, all right. So, honey, now look, don't you go comparing yourself to John Henry, for heaven's sake.
Oh, I didn't aim to. He was too much of a man for me.
Let's see, didn't he drive spikes on a railroad?
Well, that's the popular idea about him. I believe one version of the song story about him has him driving spikes, but the true story is John Henry was a steel driver who hammered steel drill into a rock.
It was on the old Georgia Central Railroad, wasn't it?
That's right. It's now part of the C&O. And digging the Big Bend Tunnel through the Allegheny Mountains, John Henry made his greatest claim to fame.
Well, how's that, Scotty?
Well, it seems they had to dig this tunnel through solid rock, and John Henry was the most powerful hammer wielder they had. Nobody seems to know how much that hammer weighed, but he could swing it more times to a minute than any other driller they had on the line.
Jack, they say that when he swung that hammer around his head, the sunlight on it made a rainbow all around his shoulders.
Well, what do you know?
Wonder if it's true.
Seems his boss had somebody coming down to demonstrate one of the newfangled steam drills that was supposed to save so many hours of work. And the boss bet that John Henry could beat the steam drill with his hammer. And he did it, too, and then laid down and died.
And the story goes that his little old wife started right in where John Henry stopped, driving steel like a man. Polly drove steel like a man.
Oh, Sam, you know that story?
No, that's about all I know of it. I've heard Scotty sing it. He knows it, don't you, honey?
Well, let's
He knows
hear it.
everything,
Let's
don't you?
Let's see now. John Henry. John Henry was a little tiny boy, sitting on his mammy's knee. He picked up a hammer and a little piece of steel, said, "Hammer will be the death of me. Hammer will be the death of me." John Henry told his captain, "I ain't nothing but a man. Before I would let that old steam drill beat me down, die with my hammer in my hand. Die with my hammer in my hand." I'm a steel driver man. Let's go around, the steam drill beat him down. Let's go around, they died. Let's go around, John Henry beat him down. Lay down his hammer and he died. Lay down his hammer and he died. John Henry had a pretty little wife. Her name was Polly Ann. On that day that old John Henry dropped dead, Polly hammered steel like a man. Polly hammered steel like a man.
Well, now, that's quite a story about quite a man.
Yeah, he must have had a wife that fed him pretty good, too, to be that strong.
Oh, that's it. Oh, golly. You know, I got so interested in John Henry, I forgot to put on the eggs. But I'll have breakfast in just a minute, honey. Now, you all
Here's a lovely old song that Lulabelle and Scotty have been asked to sing again and again. So they're going to do it just for you right after this announcement. Snow Day.
It's time to marry, no time to tarry. Let me carry you
It's time to marry, no time to tarry. Let me carry you from here, my sweet Sombody. Wow, that's a little mouthful, too, a little Indian song.
Well, it's a pretty one, too, kid.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Jack. Thanks. We got to be getting out of here.
Yeah, we got to eat now, I guess, this morning. See you all soon, folks. Then it's morning in the Blue Ridge, here beside the lonesome pine. Then it's morning in the Blue Ridge, and deep within this heart of mine.
Now, don't forget your date to join those favorite sweethearts of the airways, Luna Bell and Scotty, with the Blue Ridge Riders and yours truly, Jack Stillwell, when next it's time for Breakfast in the Blue Ridge.